Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Hey Flora episode. This week I grabbed a question that came in through Studio Diaries, and this question pertains to our monthly theme, which this month is the art of simplification. And the question is from Sierra. Hey Flora, I have a hard time simplifying. The first layers are pretty chaotic, and then I feel like I just paint over them. How do I simplify without just painting over everything? So this is a great question, and for anyone who's been working with my painting process, you probably can relate to this conundrum, which is how do I work in layers without just painting over everything I've painted before? And I have a few thoughts. The first thing is to get really comfortable and familiar with the concept of translucent paints. So translucent paints are paints that either by the nature of their color or their thinness, allow you to see through them to the layer that came beneath. So instead of just adding a layer of paint and obliterating everything that came before, it's almost like adding a bit of stained glass or a glaze. And some of my favorites are Golden's fluid paints. So check those out if you haven't already, and just know that there is a way to paint with layers and not lose everything that came before. The other piece of that is, as you're working in layers, it's really important to sort of consciously notice what you're covering over. So one thing I like to, remind students of is that if there's an area you really love, and really loving is different than kind of liking it. So try to make that distinction. If you really love it, by all means, don't paint over it. There's no reason to let go of something you really love. Sometimes you really love something and then, an hour later you realize, oh, actually it can go, it doesn't matter. So this process really requires us to stay super present with the ever-evolving situation that is our painting. So, know that something might feel really precious and then it might actually need to get covered over. So it's an awesome vehicle for letting go and practicing this way of being in the world, which is just to not be so attached to everything. So I offer that up. And then the third thing is to work with what's working. So if you've got some color or some marks or an area in your painting that's really working, like you really dig it for whatever reason, you might consider in your next layer, how can you work with it? Maybe it means adding more of it. Maybe it means simplifying around it and really bringing attention to it. How you work with it is totally up to you, but ask yourself, how can I work with what's already working? And that's what I've got for you today. I hope that was helpful. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week.